Hello everyone. So our today's topic of discussion is reading comprehension passage 2. Okay. So we'll be doing exactly the same thing which we did in reading comprehension passage 1. We're going to read a passage, we're going to understand it line by line, we're going to understand the paragraphs, and then based upon that we'll be solving the questions. Okay. So we'll be following the same strategies, like we're going to have some mental notes, or you can also, like, if you're starting with this reading comprehension, this is the first time you're doing reading comprehension, then it's better you take down some notes. Okay, and then based upon the notes that we have formed and couple of facts given in the passage, we're going to try and solve some questions. All right, let's start. In appearance, the ancient Greek gods were supposed to resemble mortals. Okay, they were supposed to resemble mortals, whom, however, they far surpassed in beauty, grandeur, and strength. Okay, so author is saying that they were supposed to resemble, however, that stands for contrast. However, they far surpassed in beauty, grandeur, and strength. So they surpass in three things: beauty, grandeur, and strength. They were also more commanding in stature, height being considered by the Greeks an attribute of beauty in man and woman. So according to Greek, height is considered as an attribute of beauty. All right. They resembled human beings in their feelings and habits. Now, in the first three lines, they were talking about the contrast with human beings, the contrast of gods with human beings. Now they are talking about the resemblance. Now they are talking about the resemblance. They resembled human beings in their feelings and habits, intermarrying and having children, and requiring daily nourishment to maintain their strength and needing refreshing sleep to restore their energies. These are the same things that humans also do. Fine. Their blood, a bright ethereal fluid called ichor, never engendered disease, and when shed had the power of producing new life. So their blood never engendered disease, and when shed had the power of producing new life. Now, when you talk about this word ethereal here, let's talk about this word ethereal here. This word basically stands for something which is extremely delicate and light, which is extremely delicate and light. Let me put this into let me make use of this word in a sentence. So you can put it in this way. uh, let's say that example of ethereal is a party room decorated with white color, or basically using only soft fabrics. Example of ethereal is a party room decorated with white color using only soft fabrics. So this is what is meant by ethereal. Ethereal basically means extremely delicate and light. This is basically what it means. So in this first paragraph, what we could sense is that they're basically talking about the similarities and dissimilarities of gods, or of Greek gods, with men and women. They're talking about both the things, similarities as well as dissimilarities. Again, if you do not know this word grandeur, this basically stands for something that is very large and impressive. Something that is very large and impressive. Okay, one more thing I would like to pinpoint here is this is very important, like when you are reading a paragraph. See, this information that you see, a bright ethereal fluid called ichor, this is between the two commas. So whenever you put something between the two commas, this is basically an extra piece of information. This is basically an extra piece of information. For example, I say that Raman, and intelligent boy, has come late today. So this information that an intelligent boy, this is information regarding Raman. This piece of information is not necessary, however gives us a better understanding of the word before it, or better understanding of the information before it. So this, a bright ethereal fluid called ichor, this is simply defining this word blood here, nothing else. This is simply defining this word blood here and nothing else. Because these are like small things which you have to take into consideration while you're reading a passage. These things will automatically improve your reading skills. Let's move on. The Greeks believed that the mental qualification of their gods was of much higher order than those of men, but nevertheless, they were not considered exempt from human passions, and we frequently behold them actuated by revenge, deceit, and jealousy. They, however, always punish the evildoer and visit with the dire calamities with impious mortal who dares to neglect their worship or despise their rites. Okay. Now, in this case, what we need to understand from these four lines, so Greeks believed that the gods had a very, the mental qualification of their gods was higher than those of normal men. But these gods, they were not exempted from human passions. For example, they are also actuated by revenge, deceit, and also jealousy. They were actuated. When you say something is actuated, basically means to cause something. To cause something. So they were actuated by revenge, deceit, as well as by jealousy. They also punish the evildoer and someone who neglects their worship. Let's move on. Still, they were not invulnerable. Now, very important, what you need to observe is that, see, they have used two negatives, not an invulnerable. So, better read it this way. Better read it this way. Still, they were vulnerable. Rather than reading not vulnerable, this is the way of writing it. You may have these questions that why writing not invulnerable? Simply you can write vulnerable and move on. Why write not also? It's just the way things are presented. Okay, anyways, but you just need to remember that two negatives makes a positive, that's it. Still they were vulnerable and were often hear of them being wounded and suffering in consequence such exquisite torture that they have earnestly prayed to be deprived of their privilege of immortality. We often hear of them being wounded, so we hear of them being wounded and suffering in consequences of torture that they have earnestly, like long lastingly, prayed to be deprived of their privilege of immortality. They don't want their privilege of immortality. They have earnestly prayed to be deprived. They have prayed to be deprived of their immortality. Okay. The gods knew no limitation of time or space, being able to transport themselves to incredible distances with the speed of thought. They possess the power of rendering themselves invisible at will. Rendering basically means helping. You can simply write this basically means helping. Helping themselves invisible at will, and could assume the form of men or animal as it suited their convenience. They could also transform human beings into trees, stones, animals, either as a punishment for their misdeeds or as a means of protecting the individual thus transformed from impending danger. Now, what we need to observe is that in the second and the third paragraph that we have gone through, they are simply talking about gods. The two paragraphs are only talking about gods. What they can do, what they don't like, what are their limitations, what are not their limitations. These two paragraphs are only talking about God. Now the first passage here did spoke regarding the contrast and resemblance of the God and the human being, but the next two paragraphs are only talking about God. So I can sense that the general flow is only about God. They simply used humans for contrast in the first passage, that's it. But the general flow is only about the Greek gods. what are their likes, what are their dislikes, and that's basically what it is. Let's read the fourth one also. Most of these divinities lived on the summit of Mount Olympus, each possessing his or her individual habitation. Now, these words most, instead of that, they could have used every also. So, these words like you need to remember. Okay, it says most, not all. Okay, his or her individual habitation, and all meeting together on festive occasions in the council chamber of the gods. Magnificent temples were erected in their honor, and they were worshipped with the greatest solemnity. Solemnity basically means respect. They are worshipped with the greatest respect. Rich gifts were presented to them, and animals, and indeed sometimes human beings, were sacrificed on their altars. Altar basically means a high table where, if you have been to a church, they're like very big large tables where they sit and they have their food. Those are known as altars. So this entire RC, like, if since I have read this, so I can feel that this is more or less everything. It's about the God. The first passage was simply the humans were used to like explain gods. That's it, nothing else. Okay, now let's see what the questions are, and we can say that this passage is more about an informative passage. Okay, it's a neutral tone and it's an informative passage. Like, the author is not criticizing, or he's not very happy about something, or he's not elated also. He's simply giving us an information, that's it, nothing else is there, and the tone is also very neutral. He has simply given us the facts in the entire passage, and that's it. So now we have to solve the questions. So you can also do one thing, you can pause the video and you can try this question first by yourself, like have your answer ready, and then play back the video in order to understand how to solve this question. Alright, let's try this one. From the information in the passage, which of the following could not be the result of the torture inflicted on the god? Which of the following could not be the result? Could not be the result. So what we'll do is, we're going to read all the 5 options. Whichever one we feel that this can't be our answer, we're going to eliminate that. And whichever options we feel can be the answer, so we're going to read them again. If it is required that we need to go back to the passage, we'll do that also, and then we're trying to find out the correct answer. Question is could not be the result. Okay, first one says death of the god. Now this word death of the god is nowhere mentioned in the passage. It's not given to us that because of this torture it will result to death of the god. This is not mentioned. Okay, so I'll keep this one on hold still. So let's move to B. The gods turning the torture into an animal. So the passage do says that they could transform human beings into animals. So that's quite a possibility. So B is out. That can be the result of torture inflicted on God. The gods wishing that they were mortals. Now gods were never wishing that they were mortals, but I think the exact word was or the exact line was that they were praying for something, that they want to be deprived of their immortality. It was something like that mentioned. I don't remember all the exact words, but I still doubt that. Let's just keep this one on hold. We're gonna read that line, exact line again, so that we don't commit any mistake, and then we're gonna eliminate option number E. D says the gods transporting themselves to some other place away from torturer. Now this was also mentioned that they could transform, they possess the power to be invisible at will, and yeah, being able to transport themselves to incredible distances with the speed of a thought. So yes, they can transport themselves, which means D is also out. The god miraculously healing their wounds. Now miraculously healing their wounds is not mentioned anywhere in the passage. It simply says that we often hear of them being wounded, and suffering in consequences, and after this that they have never used this word wounded again. So this is nowhere stated. This is nowhere stated in the passage. Now, why, like, you can ask this question, like, if the word the option A is also nowhere stated, like, but why are you not eliminating option A? It's for the fact that they were immortals. See, this word immortality gives us this hint that they want to be deprived of their immortality. That means they were immortals. If they are immortals, that means they can't die. That's why I have not eliminated option number A. That is why I have not eliminated option number A, because they were immortals. That's why E is out and A is not out. You should have these questions, like, we're saying that E is not mentioned, similarly A is also not mentioned. Why not eliminate A? I'm not eliminating A for the fact that because they were immortals. They wanted to be deprived of their immortality. Now, the exact lines that they are saying is that they have earnestly prayed to be deprived of their privilege of immortality. They have earnestly prayed to be deprived. They don't want that. The god wishing that they were mortal, no, the gods were wishing that they were immortals. They wanted to be deprived of their power. That's why C is incorrect. That's why C is incorrect and A is the correct answer. And A is the correct answer. Let's move to second question. You can again read the question and try it yourself first, please. Okay. From the passage, each of the following can be inferred about the Greek gods except the gods dwelled on Mount Olympus. Okay. Now, exactly, if I remember, I told you this thing also, that in the passage where it was mentioned that most of these divinities, it's not that the gods dwelled. Like, dwelled basically means to live on somewhere or to stay on somewhere. It says most of these divinities. It does not say that all of them are living there. It says most. So I'm not pretty sure about this A, because this can come as an except. Okay, this can come as an except. So I'll keep this one on hold. I'll keep this A1 on hold. B says the gods could transform their forms, which is mentioned in the passage quite clearly. They could also assume the form of men or animals as it is suited on their convenience. Okay, this is the line. This is that line. So B is definitely out. B is definitely out. C says the gods were offered human sacrifices. This was given in the last paragraph. And indeed, sometimes human beings were sacrificed. Sometimes human beings were also sacrificed. So C is also out. The gods could punish human, yes, because it says that they can turn humans into stones and animals. Yep, this line, stones and animals. So D also goes out. The gods came together to celebrate festival. I think this was mentioned in the last passage. Sorry, last paragraph. Yeah, and all meeting together on festive occasions. And all meeting together on festive occasions. And see, in this, they have used this word. They have very cleverly used this word all meeting on festive occasions. Small things which you need to take into consideration, which means answer is A, which means the answer is option number A. Okay, third one is again the question. What is the main purpose of the author in writing the passage? What is the main purpose? See, let's go back to all of the four paragraphs. The first paragraphs do speak about gods and men, like their similarities, their dissimilarities. But I think it was more of a like they were trying to explain God with the help of humans. They were trying to explain gods with the help of humans. And in the last three passages, or in the second, third, and fourth paragraphs, basically, they have only spoken about God. They have only spoken about God. There was no contrast. There was no there were no points regarding humans. Okay, there were no contrast, there were no similarity, there were no dissimilarities, there were no points regarding humans. It was only regarding God, 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 and God. Like, let's go back from the first passage itself. See, the first one do tell us about the contrast, how they resemble human beings, how they contrast human beings. But from the second one, you see, they are not talking about humans now. They are comparing, like, okay, we the gods have certain qualities like humans. God has certain qualities like humans, but they're not talking about humans. The passage is not talking about humans. The passage entirely is talking about gods. They're simply taking reference of humans so that they can compare the two things, but they haven't spoken regarding humans at all. So wherever you see humans in the options, that should not be my answer. Wherever you see humans in the option, that should not be my answer. Therefore, A goes out, C goes out, D goes out. They are not talking about humans. The passage is not about humans, it's about gods. It's about gods. E says to discuss the history, and they have nowhere discussed the history. They have nowhere discussed the history. They have nowhere discussed the history. Which means your answer is simply option number B. Your answer is simply option number B. To describe the lives and trails of the Greek gods. Trails is because the problems that they are facing, they are not invulnerable, or basically they are vulnerable. They have sufferings, they have to bear consequences also. So to describe the lives and trails of the Greek gods is the most appropriate of all the five options. The passage is not about humans, understand. The passage is not about humans. The passage is only about gods. That's it. Alright, one last question. Pause the video and try this one, please. Alright, the author uses the phrase "were supposed to" in the opening line of paragraph 1 in order to. So let's read that. Let me remove all this now. In appearance, the ancient Greek gods were supposed to resemble mortals, whom, however, they far surpass in beauty, grandeur, and strength. So, when it says were supposed to resemble, but however, so isn't it like a warning or something? Like they were supposed to be something like this, but in actual, they are something like this. They are also more commanding in nature. They were supposed to be something like this, but they are like this. Isn't it like a warning that there is no point of comparing the two things, although they have like something in common, but they're like far superior in, like, gods are far superior in many things. Alright, you are comparing gods with humans, fine, fair enough, but they shouldn't be technically. That's the point. So it's like a warning or something. So first, what we'll do is we're gonna eliminate the options. Point out the difference between mortals and Greek gods. Alright, let's say that. Let's say this can be. Fine, let's keep this on hold. Forewarn the reader that even huge similarities, the Greek gods will probably still be different from mortals. This, I feel, if out of A and B, if I were to ask, then I would definitely go with B. B gives me much more clarity of what the author was saying by when it says that we're supposed to resemble the mortals. Okay, although there are similarities, but there is no point of comparing the two things because gods are gods. So out of A and B, I'm gonna go with B. That means A is anyways out. A is anyways out. Highlight the relationship between mortals and Greek gods. And you understand, again, they have not highlighted any relationship. They are not highlighting any relationship between mortals and Greeks. They are simply using mortals as a reference to make you understand what are the capabilities of gods. They are not finding a relationship between the two things. That's not what is meant by when they say that they were supposed to. They are not relating the two things. That's why they also use the word however, which is again a contrast. Okay, so C is also. Now D I won't even read because it says this word criticize, and author has nowhere criticize anyone, even mortals or immortals, gods or humans in the entire passage. No point of even reading this option number two. Except the fact that Greek gods fail to resemble the mortals. Okay, that's not the author's concern. Author is not accepting, like when it's saying that they were supposed to look like, so he's not accepting something. He's like warning the reader, okay, you may, when you're going to read the passage, he's trying to make the reader understand, okay, when you're going to go forward, you may expect more similarities between humans and gods, but that's not what it's going to happen in the upcoming lines or in the upcoming paragraphs. So don't look and don't go searching for similarities and dissimilarities of humans and gods. That's not what author is saying. He's not accepting that they fail to resemble the mortals. That's not what he meant when it says that they were supposed to. When he's writing they were supposed to resemble the mortals, however they far surpassed, that basically tells us that that's basically like a warning. Don't compare the two quantities. Don't compare the two quantities. That's what they're basically saying. So E is also out in front of B, and the correct answer to this question should be option number B. The correct answer to this question is option number B. So guys, this is more or less everything that you need to know in passage 2. Again, a good passage. Options were pretty close. I think the fourth question was a bit difficult. Apart from that, if you have read the passage properly and clearly, then it shouldn't have been a problem for the first three questions. First three questions were definitely doable. In the first one, you had that hint of the death of the god. Okay, this I can say it's slightly offbeat, because if E is wrong, then A is also wrong. But again, it's all about like reading practice, reading each and every word. Second question was very easy, no denying on that. But third is also not that difficult once you understand what. See, that's what I told you in the previous video also of reading comprehension 1. It's not only about the first paragraph. The idea or the purpose of the writing by a good author, you'll see that purpose in the entire passage. You'll not only see that purpose in the first paragraph, it will be in the entire passage. The entire passage talks about gods, it doesn't talk about humans. Okay, they have simply taken an example of humans so as to describe gods. That's it. All right, so this will be more or less everything about passage number 2 or reading comprehension number 2. I hope you have understood the key points in the basic structure. How do you have to read and how do you have to solve questions? Keep practicing, guys, and keep reading. Read every day, read something. Read a good passage, read a good article. Develop that habit. Unless and until you develop that habit, it will be a bit difficult for you. Okay, simply memorizing like words, it's not going to help you, trust me. It's not going to help you. All right, so if you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel also. Please share the channel with your other friends also and ask them to subscribe, and keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much, guys.